record button. Hey, look at that. I actually managed to hit that record button.
Right. Hello there.
So good to see you guys. Welcome, everybody. This is kind of a special edition of the Kong Family Show, even though we're doing it at the same time. We've got a special guest here, David Zaragoza. Zaragoza, another awesome dude walking down the street. And
that is the funniest thing ever. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. My mom, I give the credit to my mom. She came up with that, and it'll stick forever.
No, what a Jedi, dude. Your mom was a Jedi.
Yeah, we love your mom. You got to make sure you tell her that. Yeah. Hey, Dan, good to see you, buddy. Always good to see you here. But anyway, so David, yeah, you've got a special event going on this evening, and we wanted to get that out here today on the Kong Family Show, and you know, our goal, of course, is to change the world.
Yeah.
It's a simple goal. It's real easy. It's no problemo. People might think it's crazy, but that's what keeps us from going insane. And you know, Sean, how are we doing that again?
We like to think we're changing the world one glass of hydrogen-saturated, oxygen-rich 9.5 Kangen water at a time. Thank you kindly. I appreciate you asking.
Amen. And one lightning bolt in a box, one incredible guest, one amazing family at a time. And so today, David Zaragoza is in the house, and he's got special stuff to share today. So, you know, in fact, he just informed me that we're going to get to learn about something that is even greater than Kangen water. And I want to hear it. Let's have it, brother. Let's hear what you got.
Well, I know that you originally, your response was, wow, I can't think of anything greater than Kangen water. And honestly, JJ, the truth is you are greater than Kangen water. And I mentioned to you last week, we spoke briefly, and I said that you, in particular, in this Kangen family show and everything that Sean and Dan and Liz and everyone else, Sam and Bob and Dr. Michael and everyone that continuously pours love and knowledge into this show and into other people, they are greater than Kangen water, and they are using Kangen water as a tool to influence and help people, which is exactly what you're doing. You have inspired me to come onto the show yet again and to be able to, maybe not directly, I don't know who you had on yesterday or the day before, but gee golly, Bob Wright was on the call this weekend, and Dr. Michael, and now you have, you know, Zaragoza. And so it's very humbling, you know, for me. But at the same time, you are asking what's greater than Kangen water, and that's the human spirit. And what I've learned recently, and it's something that we probably have all heard time and time again, but I know it to be true now inside myself, is that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And what I've learned since getting involved with Kangen water, and I touched on it in our last interview, I've been in the medical field since high school. I played baseball my whole life, and so when playing baseball was no longer an option, I got involved in sports medicine, and I learned that I had the ability to heal in some capacity. And being broken myself from a long history of child abuse, psychological mostly, I knew how important it was for me to be able to do what I could to help anyone that I can. And so sports medicine led to emergency medicine. I did that for nearly a decade. And I was exposed to the darker sides of the healthcare industry. I was exposed to so many drug overdoses and, from cardiac and respiratory to infant deaths and SIDS. And, you know, when you do CPR on an infant baby, it really changes your perspective. And so I couldn't handle that stress. And so what we know now to be true is that this stress is detrimental to our health, and it's detrimental to our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, and our spiritual health. And what I know now, like I said, is we're spiritual beings living a human experience. And since I've been blessed with the opportunity to have this juice bar, I have met a lot of people who are desperate for a new path. And what I mentioned to you guys last time is I consider myself to be a gardener now, planting seeds in other people's gardens. And what I'm learning is that a lot of our gardens are filled with weeds. And they're weeds in the physical form, the emotional, the mental, and the spiritual form. And a lot of the times we're not tending to our garden properly, or we're watering the weeds, and all they're doing is growing and multiplying. And so with Kangen water, you know, it's pretty much basic knowledge that we want to detox our body of the chemicals and the toxins. And we're learning now at an increased rate that there's toxins in our food. You know, we can't even eat organic vegetables and fruits without consuming, you know, certain levels of toxins. And like Bob Wright mentioned, glyphosate is in everything. It's also in Roundup, and they're putting it in our food. And so we live in a world right now that is designed for us to fail, to be sick, and to be toxic. And we can't always control the quality of air that we breathe, but now we have the ability to control the quality of water that we drink. We have the ability to control the quality of the water that we shower in, because we all know our skin is our biggest organ in our entire body, and it absorbs those chemicals constantly. And so in our physical body, we are filled with toxins. And we live in a world right now where, or in a country right now specifically, that the toxins are everywhere. And so what can we do? We can drink Kangen water. That's going to detox our body. But we also have to work on detoxing our mind. And what I have known to be true is that a lot of us are harboring a lot of toxic behaviors because of toxic emotions that we are having, toxic thoughts, from toxic behaviors that, you know, for me in particular, the child abuse that I went through, it formed a victim's mentality in my head. And that toxicity, that toxic thoughts created toxic behavior and toxic patterns, toxic habits. And it wasn't until I found Kangen water, I started detoxing my physical body, and it led me down a path where I have detoxed my mind, I've detoxed my thoughts, I've detoxed my spirit. And there's a video on YouTube by Dr. Bruce Lipton, and he talks a lot about, similar to what Bob Wright was talking about, with our cells. We're made up of roughly 50 trillion cells. And on the inside is negatively charged, on the outside is positively charged. That phospholipid bilayer is a layer of fat. It's oxidized, and that's the first problem. That's the first domino that falls in this negative domino effect called oxidative stress. Free radicals are causing that oxidative stress. It doesn't allow proper cellular respiration. So hydrogen, oxygen does not go in, CO2 does not go out. The cell starts to die because that barrier is blocked. And that leads down a path of illness. And we know it to be true. But right now I'm sitting in a building with Wi-Fi signals going through me constantly, causing oxidative stress. So what do? I have my bottle. I drink it as much as I can, but that's what I can do physically. But what can I do mentally? What can I do to change these toxic thoughts? And what I'm learning with us being spiritual beings living a human experience is that we, our spirit, our energy, the vibration that we emit, because our bodies are antennas sending signals to other people. Right now, I have a raw vegan diet, so I'm consuming alkaline fruits and vegetables. I'm taking the Ukon that Enagic, produces. I shower in the Anespa. I'm drinking 9.5 more than a gallon per day. No sugar, no bread, no pasta, no preservatives, no chemicals. And I live in the Oregon coast, right on the beach, so I know my air quality is better than those in LA, New York, Chicago, Seattle, whatever. So I have done everything that I can possibly do within my own capabilities to remove these toxins from my life. But what I'm noticing now are all of the toxic people and the toxic behaviors. And I'm starting to notice, and I think to myself, wow, those are toxic thoughts that you're having. You're fueled by insecurities and pain that are probably from your past, and what you need is Kangen water to detox that mind. And because that's what I needed. It was my mind that was holding me back from making these positive changes and these positive choices. I was unmotivated, I was dehydrated, and I was very unhealthy for a very long time. I was sick in the mind, and I was sick in the heart, and I was sick in the body, and I was sick in the spirit. And my spirit was dulled by the sugar, by the garbage, by the Facebook and the advertisements and these standards of living that I couldn't reach. And so all of this toxicity around me, it started to leave my life once I started to drink this water and engulf myself in these magic products. And what I said yesterday, I said to a friend, and I said, I would love to check the ORP of my spirit, because I think it's -800 or -1,000 right now. I can check the ORP of my water and I know where it's at. It's -700 every time, thank you to the K8, but can I check the ORP of my internal spirit? Is it being dulled by all of these toxic things around me? Because once I started removing those things, my spirit started to grow and I started to emit this energy that people were gravitating themselves towards. These were people with positive ORPs in their life, positive ORPs in their spirit and in their diet and in their water and in their mind. And they started coming to me. I started to attract them. The laws of attraction have become very obvious in my life. And I see these numbers, these 333, 444, 222, sevens are everywhere now. And so I know that I'm on the right path. I know that I'm detoxing my life, and that what I'm going to be able to do is help more people just on a daily basis, plant more seeds, one beautiful glass of 9.5 at a time, like Sean loves to say. But it feels so good to be able to make these connections, figure these things out, understand that the path that I'm on is going to lead me to a place that I could have never imagined. And it's because I've detoxed my body, I've detoxed my mind, and I'm currently detoxing my spirit. And people like you, JJ, and Sean, and Dan, and myself, and Sam, and Bob, and Dr. Michael, all we are doing is trying to elevate your energy, elevate your spirit, put you into a negative ORP, and hopefully with your, discipline is key, elevate your life and give you the ability to help others and pay it forward. And so with this demo that I'm doing tonight, I can't stand up there and talk about all this spiritual stuff and energies and things like that, because everybody will start to fall asleep. So tonight I'm going to do the water test and show you the beautiful colors and dip the ORP and soak the tomatoes like everybody does. And that's pretty much standard. But there's something greater than Kangen water that we have here, and it's the ability to elevate somebody's energy. And all that's going to do is allow them to help other people. And that's the message that I really want to send, is that, I'd love to, I've been talking a lot right now, and I'd love for us to be able to expand on this and share, experiences that we've had. But I truly do believe that what we have here is definitely not a cure, but a tool. A tool. If we were digging a hole and we had a spoon, that's not the right tool. But if we had a shovel, it's going to get the job done a lot more effectively. And so we've got bottled water and tap water, and those are like just little spoons, plastic spoons that we can't dig a hole with a plastic spoon. And so what Kong's water has given us is a shovel with a handle, and we're going to be able to dig the biggest hole because you've got part of the handle. I do. Sean, Dan, Liz, Bob, Sam, the list goes on. And we've all got the ability to dig that hole together. And the hole, is we're helping people, and we're going to be able to just do it more efficiently now with Kong's water. And thank whoever you want to thank above, whether it's some, because Mr. Oshiro, that's who we're thanking, is because he's really given us this opportunity to only improve the lives of others. And I feel incredibly blessed. And that's the message that I want to send every single day.
Man, I'm telling you, David, listen, you're laying that down like we're picking up what you're laying down like Derek Jeter grabbing a can of corn routine grounder. That's why I threw it at you, bud.
Yeah.
Now, look, and everything you're saying is, I had this conversation just this weekend as we were trapped up in the Wi-Fi-less land of the Rocky Mountain front. And I was using the reference as a key. We're all locked. Society, our lives, we grow up, all these shackles are put on us from the world. And little by little, you talk about on a health level, Kangen water is the key to unlocking our physical health. You talk about, the spirit, and we're just trying to help find keys for people, help people find their own keys so they can start unlocking these chains that are binding us and holding us back from that which we were destined to grasp, to evolve into. We stay steady. We just get into that comfort zone of just settling for whatever crumbs life throws at us. And, we were designed to go after that big T-bone steak or, whatever, we were designed to reach for more. And too many of us aren't. And we're locked in our health negatively. Stress, you want to talk about pop and all these things. Stress produces more acid than any of that stuff. And again, you touched on that. Dude, it's crazy. I'd have loved to have known you beforehand. And then getting to know you now, you've just seemed to have gone through an absolute transformation, not only physically, but personally and spiritually. Just being able to have you share that with us, have you be a part of this. Have us be able to be a forum to help you get that out to the world. It's huge, dude. You've got a huge future ahead of you. I'm excited as hell to shake your hand, give you a hug here somewhere down the line when I run into you. But no, dude, everything you dropped was absolute platinum. Big time.
Well, I really appreciate, you guys and everything that you guys are doing here. But you said something, and gosh, now it escapes me what you said. But I was reminded that so that toxic spirit, what I've noticed, okay, so what I was going to say was we don't talk about these things enough. I'm noticing with folks coming into the juice bar, they're now seeing that, because I'm open with my story, and I talk about child abuse, and it was mostly psychological, but the truth is the person that I had in my life who was doing the abuse, he was abused as a child also. And so without him detoxing his spirit and his mind and his heart, he perpetuated that cycle. And in most cases, what we're doing is we're perpetuating some sort of a cycle, whether it's a cycle of our own bad habits. But what I needed to do, I found the quote that says old ways don't open new doors. And I was plagued by my old ways, and my old ways developed when I was a child, and that was my mentality. And I was beaten down and broken mentally. And so I developed a victim's mentality, and I never understood why I deserved the treatment that I had been given. I was a child, I was a victim of circumstance, and I was collateral damage from a cycle that had started decades before I was even born. And probably, grandpa started the cycle, or great grandpa started the cycle. And all I did was I got caught up in the cycle that didn't have anything to do with me, but then I became the cycle. That mentality, I replayed those words and those emotions and those feelings in my head like a broken record, and it became the voice inside of me. My voice said that I couldn't do it, that I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't deserving. My voice inside of me said, don't even try, because you can't handle the failure, the feeling of failure. You're not going to be able to handle it, so you might as well not even try. And that held me back constantly, because somebody down the line told me that I couldn't do it, that I would amount to nothing, and I believed that person. And I kept replaying that over and over in my head, so it prevented me from being the person that I was meant to be. And it wasn't until I realized that the voice inside of my own heart, inside of my own head, was his voice, that he was still in control over me and the actions that I was taking, or the inactions that I was taking. And what I'm noticing with the people coming in, they're starting to open up to me because they know that I am a safe person to open up to. I'm starting to see a pattern, and the pattern is that the voice inside of you is not your own. It's somebody else's voice, that somebody put these ideas inside of your head and inside of your heart, and they are holding you back, just like they held me back for years and years and years. And it wasn't until I realized that I needed to replace that voice, I needed to replace that mindset, I needed to get rid of that victim's mentality, because I had one foot in the past, one foot in the future, and I was pissing on the present. And when I realized that, I could not get over the fact that I was wasting every single moment I had right now. Another moment passed, and I was living inside this abusive past, and it was holding me back constantly. And I needed to let that go. And now what I'm seeing there are so many people around me that are anchored down by the same thing that I was. And all I want to do now is tell these people that you don't have to listen to that voice. You can change the voice, and you can give yourself a new inner voice and create new habits, because old ways don't open new doors. And if you're desperate for a new door, then you got to change your ways. And that's the message. And Kong's water is the greatest tool that anyone has found. The founder of the American Anti-Cancer Institute has spent 11 years. I haven't spent 11 years doing anything, but Bob Wright has spent 11 years looking for this tool, and he has not found a better one. And Sam Tran is a recovering pharmaceutical lab, and it's just all these things that these people, he had his near-death experience, and I had a near-death experience, the death of my spirit. It almost died 2 years ago, and now that it's being revitalized, I'm starting to see all of the things that I wish I had seen and known years and years ago. So I feel more motivated, more dedicated to spreading what I've learned, because if I was going through it, I know at least one other person is. And I can tell you, since I've opened up this juice bar, it's far more than one person, and I know you guys will agree.
Man. Dude, that is some powerful stuff. HooDeeHoooo! Wow. I mean, for all the people that are watching online right now, we've got a bunch of people on the Kong family page that are tuning in. I hope you guys are all really catching the vibe of this, because wow, David, when you said that there's something greater than Kong and water, I was like, I can't wait to hear what this is. And dude, you give me so much hope, and so much, you are so inspirational. It is, what you were talking about with the shovel and the hole that we can dig. And then I thought back, that immediately brought me back to your original coming on the show when you were talking. I think it was Ann. Wasn't it Ann who put that ladder down into the hole so you could climb out of it?
It was Ann, and honestly, Ann put the water into our lives, and I don't give her enough credit, because if you've even met Ann for a few hours, you know how persistent she can be and how passionate she is about changing other people's lives. And that passion and that persistence is contagious. And so I'm very happy to have the opportunity to have this water in my life. And I was stuck in that dark hole because, like, I mean, I shouldn't have used the example of the hole as far as what we're doing, but digging a hole with a plastic spoon is nearly impossible. So I thought it was good.
I loved it.
Yeah, I dug a hole. I had a big shovel. It was a big shovel of pain, you know, and it was a big shovel of regret and guilt and shame and all of these things that had been cultivated throughout my life, you know, my entire life. And I was digging a shovel. I was digging with a shovel of darkness, and I dug a really dark hole for myself over a 25-year time frame, you know, roughly. And you know, just I might have I've got a few people in my life still who have known me since I was a kid. I can't help but get emotional right now to think about those people, you know, because you mentioned, or Sean did, you know, you wish you would have known me before, but I wasn't a person that you would have even wanted to know. And there's a reason why you didn't know me before, because I had such a dying spirit that I wouldn't have attracted, you know, someone who, I mean, I don't know, I could go on and on, but
I get what you're saying, bud. May I just clarify that, though? I've worked as a counselor with at-risk youth. I've worked with so many kids that have your story in some level or other. So obviously the context is that, you know, you have made the choices to detoxify, to replenish your spirit. I mean, just in this little couple year window you're talking about, you're going from being in a place of deficiency thinking to now abundance galore. And just by making some decisions. And so I guess my point being was just from a context standpoint, because I still work with these kids, and they're not even kids. These are kids that I had in my programs 20 years ago. They still reach out to me. They still are, you know, making that move. They're still trying to fight those demons. And I guess in that regard, that's kind of where I was going, just because, you know, I understand that darkness to some degree too, you know, having had to deal with so many things that I never asked for. You know, shit, I was just trying to make the most sense of all the nonsense around me. Yeah. And so, you know, here I am still 49, still dealing with, you know, toxic people and their own issues. And I've never realized the degree to which getting rid of toxic people, family or not, it's not a matter of getting rid of them. It's just keeping them at bay now so they're not influencing me with their negativity. I want to influence everybody I can with love and positivity and infuse people with hope and empower people, you know, and there are so many people in my immediate world that fight me for that. Oh yeah, there's Wetzel going off on one of his deals. There's Mr. Positivity. There's Mr. Congan guy. And I just sit there and I laugh and I think, you know, you laugh on the surface, but deep down you're just like, your heart breaks for them because they can't understand what it means to go from darkness, to make the choices, to make the decisions, to detox all the nonsense on a mental, spiritual, emotional, physical level, transcending. And that's what we're trying to do. And I think your story is just on point about transcending from that which the world has allowed us to believe about ourselves to understanding what we were created to be and how you've got to juggle that. And again, the fact that the Kangen water detox and just that whole process has opened up all these other locks in you is incredible testimony to just freeing yourself, you know, and allowing yourself to be free and not chained by those things. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I was getting at, man, because I see what I'm getting out of you now. And it's not, you know, shouting for the rooftops, look at me, hey, I'm a cool guy. God dang, dude, you talk like a 90-year-old guy that's been around the world several times. And that's not something a guy can make up. You know, a lot of people out there trying to, no, but their humility ain't there. I think your humility is one of your biggest strengths. And I learned early on, I used to think humility was a weakness. Vulnerability was a weakness. No, we cannot become authentically who we are without being transparent, without being vulnerable, without being vulnerable to growth and change and all the toxicity around us. So, yeah, dude, your message is on point, and I'm catching it like, Jerry Rice catching one of Joe Montana's dimes, I
Yeah.
think everybody watching this is.
Well, I appreciate that. I really do. And what you said, I have a thought and I want to let you finish, and then that thought is gone. And
You're good. You're
I
good.
you start writing it down.
Cut me
But,
off.
No, it's incredible, what we're trying to do here. It really is. And honestly, the goal is I remember what I was going to say. So, that whole me, look at me, that's the ego. And the ego existed within that victim's mentality because it was always, why me? I was 8 years old and I was being psychologically manipulated into thinking things that were incredibly toxic for me. And that stuck with me forever. And I never, and to go even further, when my mom found out she was pregnant, my dad was young. He was like 17. He was a gangbanger running the streets in LA. And he didn't want to be a father, so he opted out. And my mom respected that decision. Her parents helped, give her the stability that she needed to raise me as a young single mother. And then she found love, a few years later and married, and he turned out to be the abuser. And so that was strike two as far as father figures were for me. And growing up, I thought that he was my dad. I didn't know about my biological father until my adolescence. And so, go ahead, you too? Yeah. I mean, it's so my biological dad didn't want me, and my stepdad abused me, and I never understood why, and my mom's younger brother left us and disowned us. And I never took responsibility for that. But all I saw were people giving up on us and on me. And I never, ever understood why. And so with all of that abuse that went on for all those years, like I said, I never understood. So it was always, what did I do to deserve that? I didn't do anything to deserve it, so there was never an answer. That question always went unanswered, and it lived within my heart forever. And so it took me becoming a parent, right? I had a daughter. She's 18 months right now. And a couple months after her conception, her mother hightailed it down to Southern California. We had built a life here, and now she's, down in California. And so I'm fighting for visitation. I'm fighting for, I've already driven over 20,000 miles just to see her. I go down as often as I can. I take a week off from work. And what I learned was that ego, it had to disappear because it wasn't about me anymore. That victim's mentality, it had to disappear because it wasn't about me anymore. It was about that little baby girl, and it was about me breaking that cycle, because I did not, and I still do not, with a passion, want her to grow up with the same struggles that I've had. Why didn't he want me? And so thank you for this.
She's gonna know.
No, I know. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm not worried about that at all. It's not even an option. But what I know to be true now more than ever is that ego, that victim's mentality, that's what was holding me down. That what was holding me back, because I was seeking an answer to a question that why me? Well, and that's the only reason, that. And so I was able to come to that conclusion. and I was able to let it, let a lot of my pain and my guilt go. And so now, I'm living a whole new life and on a whole new path. But for anybody, like there's a saying, and you could be called beautiful 1,000 times, but someone calls you ugly once and you never forget it. And that's the truth, and a lot of people, we get stuck in that, in whatever happens, and we get stuck. And I was stuck, and a lot of people are stuck in one way or another. And so beyond the demo, beyond the acidic and the ORP and the tomatoes, I really want to just try to help educate people on getting unstuck, because that's what changed. And Kong's water was the tool that really made it, I'll say easier. It made it easier. It made it doable. I was fueled properly, hydrated, all these things, and I finally had a tool within my tool bag that was beneficial for me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then it's put me in touch with amazing people like you guys, who I can talk to and relate to, and all these other people. And so, it's bigger, JJ, than Kong's water, what we're doing, and I say that with confidence.
Absolutely.
Amen, brother. Amen. Wow. What an incredible show today.
That's not what this intended to be. I want to inspire and uplift people, and I feel like I just threw a fire hose on your guys' fire, but
no, you got it wrong there, brother. You got the exact opposite, man. I'm over here crying because I'm crying out of love and happiness, not sadness. Yeah, you are something special, brother, and there's no doubt about it. And I think it's, what you said about, because it's so interesting how what you're saying resonates so much with me, because I've had a lot of the same kind of transition. Probably now that I think about it and listening to you talk, probably the best gift that I've gotten from Kangen water hasn't really been health benefits. It's more been mental and spiritual benefits because of all of the incredible people. Mm-hmm. I call it the Kong family because that was just what I come up with, and the whole gorilla and all that, and living in the jungle, drinking Kong's water, all that kind of stuff. That's just the way I am. I always have to try and find humor and fun in everything that I do. But in all seriousness, this is an amazing family of people. And the people that I've ran into over the last 2.5 years since I made that decision, since my sweetie and I made that decision to get ourselves a Kangen water machine, I had no clue what I was getting myself into and how incredibly life-changing it was going to be. It's literally changed every aspect of my life. And I don't have $1 million in the bank account or anything like that. I'm going through some serious struggles in that department, but right here, the 6 inches between the ears, it has been absolutely transformational, just like what you're talking about. It's an incredible gift. And like you, I'm sitting here going, hold on a second, what's better than God's water? Holy crap! And dude, you're a 29-year-old freaking spring chicken. And I'm 54 years young, and here you are teaching me some absolute golden nuggets. I mean, it is.
Well, I'll tell you what, JJ.
Awesome.
I know a lot of people will be able to relate to this, but I grew up very young. I became an adult handling real world adult situations when I was 8 years old. And so I might be 29, but I've been dealing with heavy emotional stress since I was 8 years old. And probably even before that, that's just as far as I remember. you know. And so my mind and my heart and my spirit, and honestly, I look around and we're involved in a world full of these school shootings, and I see the loss of innocence at a very, very young age. And that's what I relate to, is a loss of innocence. And what I'm doing now is, at 29 years old, is I'm trying to rewrite all those pages, you know. I'm trying to make a difference, and I'm trying to be the change that I want to see in the world. And if I do that, and you do that, and Sean and Dan and Liz and Sam and Bob and Ann and Denise, and the list goes on, then eventually it's going to infect the world. And right now, thanks to YouTube and Zoom and Facebook Live, I'm sitting in a room by myself talking to a computer screen, but I have the ability to potentially reach, who knows, hundreds, thousands, someday millions, you know. And the goal is to plant seeds, and we have the best seed known to man right now with Kong's water. And all I have to do is place that seed in your garden, and if you decide to come back, which generally everybody does, then I add a little bit of water to that seed each time, and eventually it turns into a beautiful garden. And that's what happened with me. Anne planted that seed in a garden full of weeds. There was no life in that garden for 20 years. And now, because of me and because of my family and my friends and Kong's family and all these great things happening, I have the ability to remove the weeds and nurture the seed. And it's beautiful what's happening. And I can't even imagine what is, you know, right now I have a little 5x5 garden, but I can't wait until I have a community garden and a farm and, you know, all these things, you know, and it's just really, really, really good, because I've suffered for a really long time internally, and now I'm not. And it's an incredible feeling, and that weight has been lifted, and all I want to do is help remove a lot of the weight that people are carrying, you know. And I know that that's your mission too, JJ and Sean and Dan and everybody. That's really what we're doing. That's what it comes down to. And, you know, healing people, heal people. We talked about that last time. And I'm healing. I'm always going to be healing. I'm in the process of healing, and I'm creating a path for myself that other people are going to want to join, you know, and that's it. Be the change you want to see in the world.
Amen, brother. You know, when we say around here that our goal is to change the world, we're not joking, not even in the slightest, because we are changing the world. It is happening, and we're watching.
It starts with our world right here. Our immediate world is where it starts. Because if, you know, we talked about it, but here's my before and after picture. That was my world right here. This person is very sick and unhappy, and I had to change my world. Otherwise, who's going to believe that guy? You know, not me. And we joked. My aunt, before we got involved with this juice bar, I said, do you think anybody's going to take us seriously? Because we're chubby. And whether it was her who asked or me, the answer was, we won't be for long. And man, because you want to talk about truth, we manifested that for sure, because look at that guy. You know, that guy exists now. So we weren't for long. And you want to talk about people taking us seriously, we've got regulars that come in every single day for water and juice, and they're getting off the pharmaceuticals. I've got a lady who has tears in her eyes almost daily when she thanks me for her beet juice, because she's off her blood pressure medications and her doctors can't figure out why. These doctors are paying hundreds of thousands for their education, and they're not learning jack squat. And what I'm doing is I'm giving beet juice to people. I'm going to start writing prescriptions for beet juice, you know, because that's what helps. Ginger and lemon. Are you kidding me? People are giving up coffee. Coffee drinkers who have been drinking 2 or 3 cups per morning, per day for 20 years are giving up their coffee and trading it in for lemon ginger shots. And because they're saying that the energy that they have is far greater than the coffee. And so we're shifting from a an acidic lifestyle to an alkaline lifestyle, and people are waking up. They're seeing the difference, and they're following suit right behind.
Wow. That is so powerful, man. This is such an incredible show today. Woo-dee-hoo! Man, David, I'll tell you, buddy, I'm so proud of you. You are such an amazing example, and you're going to be such a huge part of what we're doing, trying to change this world. And I'm looking so forward to continuing to work with you as time goes by, because I know for me, I've been searching for this my whole life, and I found it. And, you know, I thought it was stupid. I was just like so many people out there. I got involved with this after having Mr. Wright on the show. I decided to go and join a cancer support group on Facebook and get that information out to them. And it is just absolutely mind-boggling how much abuse I've taken over there on that page, just simply for sharing out a video from Bob Wright, the founder of the Anti-Cancer Institute. It's like, just like they removed my post and that
People
kind of
wanna
stuff,
be
and everybody's
victims.
bashing the piss out of me, and it's like, hey, whatever, you know, I'm just here to change lives. And, you know, I'm here to save lives and change lives, and I don't care about selling machines. I care about changing lives. And it's so amazing that, like you were talking about, the toxic environment that these people are living in. It's all victim mentality. There's nothing they can do. There's nothing I can do. I've just been dealt the worst hand in the whole deck, and I'm just screwed, and there's nothing I can do. Well, I'm here and you're here. We're all here to let people understand that that's not the case. And if you want to make a change, you can make a change. And, you know, that book, Think and Grow Rich, this book right here, the people, you know, everybody should read this book. But the one thing that this book probably hit harder than anything else was the part where he talks about the fact that there's only one thing in this world that we have control over. There's only one that we have absolute, complete, 100% control over. And Kangen water actually adds to this and gives us more control. And that is our own thoughts. We have control over our own thoughts. We can think positive or we can think negative. We can think victim or we can think survivor and success and, you know, triumph. It's up to us.
Well, I want to expand on that. I was listening to a video earlier, and that's all I do is I try to listen to as many YouTube videos of, if there's a doctor something, I'm listening, you know, because that's just people who have a lot to offer, and I take a little bit from each person and I form my own opinions. And what I'm learning to be true is like the placebo effect. We all know about the placebo effect. In every single drug trial, the patients, half of them get the drug, the other half get a sugar pill. Nobody knows who has what, and they figure out, you know, what works. And so there is an opposite to that. So if I'm taking a sugar pill and I'm thinking that I'm getting the blood pressure pill, and I know I'm getting the blood pressure pill, and my blood pressure is lowered, but it's the sugar pill, how do you explain that? It's because I believed to be true that I was taking this medication that was going to help me. So we call that the placebo effect. But nobody knows about the nocebo effect, and that is the opposite end of the spectrum, because if I take the medication and I tell myself, oh, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, this isn't going to work, then it's not going to work. And so that's exactly what you're saying, is we have control over our mind. And I'll be honest with you, I get, like right now, I'm trying to change that pattern, rewire the hardware up here, and I'm noticing the difference. Because instead of saying, you know, like I was thinking about just the other day, a way for me to transmit this message that I have inside my head. And I knew that my demo was coming up, and I knew that I didn't have enough time during my demo to spew all of this stuff onto these people. And so literally later that day, you contact, we got in contact, and here I am just a few days later. And so I kept telling myself, I need to be able to transmit this message. And I know that if I could at least, connect or relate to one person, and I've already connected with one person, you guys, Sean and JJ, and so I know that it's gonna work. And I knew that it was gonna work because I told myself it was gonna work. And had I told myself it wasn't, then it wouldn't have, and so it really, really does make a difference. And we know about the placebo effect, but we need to educate ourselves on the nocebo effect.
Yeah. Amen, brother. Hey, Dan, I'm imagining that you've got something to add to this, that you gotta have something to say to this Soul Beach, Mr. Zaragoza.
Well, I appreciate, David. How you doing, brother? It's funny because I just did a deal this weekend, and we had about 100 people there, and JV Pacifico was there, and everybody wanted to talk about their experience with the water or this, that, and the other. But what I did my training on was mindset and limited beliefs, and that to the lines of what he's saying, and I think David, if you haven't seen it, and you probably have, there's a really, really good documentary on Netflix called Heal. And it's about the body's ability to naturally heal itself, but it's not just the things we put in it. It's so much thought-based and mind-based, and manifestation is real. And I talked with the people this weekend about, that was something that was missing for me with the water for the first 2 years, because first it was, oh, this is crap, it's not going to work, da 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 da, and then who am I ever going to talk to about water? I can never make a business out of this. And then even sometimes after having a lot of success, who am I going to find? Where's that new person? And I had to kind of realize that sometimes you're not going to have that new person until you're ready. Until you're ready to take on that person. So are you the person that's ready when that next evolved spirit walks into your life? Are you going to be in a position where you can truly lead them? And if you're walking around with limited beliefs and you're walking around like that, you're probably not going to attract those kind of people into your life. And we appreciate David's mission, and we're we've only met him a few times, but I know Liz and him have really connected. I think they were even speaking last night, and she just has a real place in her heart for his mission in that town. And I think Bandon's just one of those deals and that's where David lives. But, he's having a little bit of an issue tipping the first couple. But I really believe when the first 3, 5, 7 machines eventually fall in that town, I think he's going to change a whole community. And, this is a marathon, not a sprint. And, we're fully in support of everything you're doing. And we really do. And she speaks about this all the time. We really want to make an effort to get down there, whether it's your June or July demo, and, maybe infuse that with a little bit of new blood and have people hear it from a different perspective. And anything we can do to help your mission, David, we'd love to. Matter of fact, I just went upstairs, and Liz was so upset. She's so sick, and she was up last night coughing so much, and she looked at the clock, and she was mad at me for not waking her up. So I had to apologize to you on her behalf and let her know, but she was up all night, so I just didn't want to wake her up for the show.
Well, the beauty of this, Dan, is that JJ is recording it, and so we'll be able to watch it over and over again. I'm gonna definitely watch it a few times so I can soak in all of this good knowledge and this good energy, But I appreciate you, Dan, and I did appreciate speaking with Liz last night. She was able to shine a lot of knowledge and experience that she's found in her own life and help me make some connections. And that's what it's all about. That's all we're doing constantly. Like what Liz did with me last night is, just adding a little bit of her water to my soil, and with some knowledge and some experience that she's gained over a life of constant gardening, and that's all we're doing. And so I appreciate you guys, willing to come down here, and this is a unique town. It's a beautiful town, and we are already helping a lot of people. We get people thanking us constantly for being here. And so you're right that the town, the community, they're going to benefit a lot from what we're doing here. You're right.
This is the most beneficial thing that you know, whenever I give out a card to somebody, you know, here's my business card that I love to give out to people. You know, my big gorilla with the lightning bolt and the electrolyzed water spouting into his mouth. You know, I give these away to people, and I tell them, I'm giving you a gift. This is the greatest gift that anybody has ever given you in your life. Whether you're going to utilize it or not, that's up to you. But I'm doing my job, which is to open the door, and I'm giving you this gift. And I hope you'll go watch that 11-minute video that's on that page there. And if you have any questions, get a hold of me. But the thing is every single time I give away one of these cards, I have such an incredible warmth in my heart, because I know that I have just given somebody this incredible gift. Mm-hmm. Whether they're going to take advantage of it or not, that's their choice. That's their deal. And what they do, where they go, how they do. I'm only here to show them. And if they jump in and they walk through the door, then I'm right here to greet them and help them and work with them. And I don't care whose team they're on. I don't care where they live. I don't care. I honestly don't care. I'm here to help everybody. And it doesn't matter to me whether I'm making a dime off of it or not. I don't care about that. That's not. You know, so many people think that, oh, you just want to sell them a water machine. You know, they just don't get it. And it's heartbreaking, because I don't care about that. I have literally sold more of these machines for other people than I have for myself. And I'm proud of that. I'm happy about that. I'm tickled pink about that. I know that those sales that are going to come through me, or, you know, go through me and my team, are going to happen. I'm not even concerned about that. Like Dan said, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. This is the rest of our lives. This is changing lives. This is changing the world. This is making a difference. And, you know, it's just like you, David, you are, and myself and Sean and Dan, we're all perfect examples of how this company changes lives. And I want to throw in a real quick little plug for the morning motivation for my brother, Thomas Warden, and this morning motivation thing that he's put together. And the only reason I know Thomas Warden, the only reason I ran into this morning motivation is because of Kangen Water, because I jumped on board this train. And the people, like we've been talking about, David, you know, this is such an incredible, powerful, impactful subject that we're talking about today, because you're absolutely right. There indeed is something bigger and better and more powerful than Kangen Water. And every time you go look in the mirror, you're looking at it. Mm-hmm. That's what's more powerful. That's what's greater. That is what is the bigger gift than Kangen Water. And this morning motivation, it takes place every single morning at 7:30 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. So that'd be 6:30 your time. And, you know, I mean, go ahead, go figure it out. Figure out what time it happens. But it happens every single day. It happens 7 days a week, 365 days a year. We even did it on Christmas, New Year's, Thanksgiving, Memorial Day. Every single day it happens. Why? Because the millionaire mindset never takes a day off. And having a millionaire mindset doesn't mean you got $1 million in the bank. It means that you think rich. You think prosperity. You think success. And if you think those things on a daily basis, guess what's going to happen in your life? You're going to surround yourself with those kinds of people. And I know I've even had my sweetie confirm to me the changes in my life. I've been tuning in to this morning motivation for 7 months strong now, every single morning. And it has made a ginormous difference in the way I think. If somebody were to look at my Facebook page a year ago and look at the things that I was posting there, because I know that's possible. I don't know how to do it, but I know you can actually go back on somebody's page and see the stuff that they posted 10 years ago or whatever. And I don't care about going back into the past, because it's over with. It's gone. It's done. I don't care about tomorrow either. I'm only concerned about what's happening right here, right now, today, because tomorrow isn't guaranteed. Yesterday's gone. Today is the time to be dealing with whatever it is that's going on in your life and move on to the next day if you're graced enough to get that next day. But people can get to the morning motivation by simply going to zoom.us, and this is recorded so people can go back, they can hit rewind, and they can write all this down. But it's zoom.us/J, just a small j, /419-997-2642. Everybody is invited. Anybody can jump in there. You do not have to participate. You don't even have to show your face, but you can listen in. And I'm telling you right now, kids, for everybody that's out there listening to this, to the people that are going to be hearing this as time goes by, you can go in there, and if you win the morning, you have such a great chance of winning the day. And, you know, like right here, Rachel Ritchie, our resident Kong's family genie, she's in the house. And the reason we know Rachel is because of the morning motivation. And she loves it. We love it. It is an incredible thing. And it's something that really will help out a lot for people that are in, you know, your kind of a situation, David, where they're needing to try and work on changing their thought process and dig out of that hole. And yeah, go ahead, buddy. Take care of whatever you need to take care of.
I thought of a thing right now, what you were just saying, a quote that I like: motivation is like showering. It only works if you do it often. And 6:30 in the morning, you know, every day, that's pretty often. And if you're going to shower every day, you might as well motivate yourself every day too.
Yeah. And, you know, I've dragged myself out of bed so many mornings where I was sleeping so good, because I literally sleep like a rock since I started chugging down 28 ounces of slow moving 9.5 Kangen water right before I go to bed every night. I literally sleep like a rock. And there's been so many mornings where I've got to get up and I don't want to, but I do. Why? Because I need to win the morning, and that way I can win the day. And this stuff is just so powerful, buddy. I'm so happy that you came in. I'm so just incredibly grateful that post got put out. I think Ann put the post out showing your before and after picture, and I was immediately inspired to reach out and say, hey, brother, let's hook up. Let's get you on the Kong Family Show. And now we've got another awesome family member who has the same exact goal, the same exact thought process, the same exact mindset, that you just want to change the world. And so, David, why don't you tell everybody, because this is going to get shared out here and it's going to continue to move through the rounds here. As soon as I get the recording, I'll get it thrown up before I head out of town. I'm actually leaving today, and I'll be gone for a week. I'm going to go run a section of river in the middle of nowhere, and I'll be completely incommunicado for a whole week. And but I'm going to get this all shared out before I leave. And so you're putting on an event tonight up there in Bandon, Oregon. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. The juice bar, it's Rossum Juices and Smoothies. My aunt owns the juice bar. I operate the water sharing and the machines and the demos out of the juice bar. So it's sort of like my own little facility to teach and educate people. But it's tonight. We've got a pretty full house already planned, but anybody's welcome. So 77 Michigan Avenue Southeast in Bandon, the Ray's Shopping Center. Rossum Juices and Smoothies, 6 p.m. tonight. What we've got is a lot of people. Like I said, we've got about 20 people coming in for their water every day, and a lot of them are going to show up. A lot of them are bringing friends and family. Anyone's welcome. We are going to have some free smoothies, and I think Denise is making avocado mousse. It's a raw vegan avocado chocolate mousse that's super, super delicious and healthy and alkaline and negatively ORP charged, I'm sure. So, it's just about Mr. Oshiro's mission is to spread true health with compassion, one family at a time. And like I said, it's greater than Kangen's water, because what we're able to do is we're really, truly trying to spread true health, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And the first step in most cases for most people is drinking Kangen water. And so we're just trying to educate and demonstrate here at the Juice Bar.
Yeah, that's so awesome. I got to tell you, I got to read you, like Paul Nelson, he said, great way to start the day. He says, you're a gem, David. Austin saying, I love my Kong family. You know, this is such a great call. Thank you. Thank you for your story. It resonates with me, from Michelle Marie Zuzel. I'm not even sure where Michelle is. Michelle, if you're still listening, we got to get you on the show, honey. We got to get you in here to share your story. But yeah, everybody that's listening in is really digging what you're talking, brother. And you know, you're a world changer, and you started with your own world.
Yep,
and
thank you.
you know, we say that the truth is that's where, if you want to change the world, you got to start with the world that you're looking at in the mirror.
Right.
If you change those, because the most difficult obstacle that people face in this world is the 6 inches between their ears.
Yep.
And that's something that I've learned from Thomas and being in on that morning motivation every morning. And it's just so amazing how much different it is, how I handle different things that happen, things that used to just piss me off and ruin my whole day. Those things just go off my back like water off of a duck's back now. And I just move on from it. Big deal. It's no big thing. I move on, and, you know, I go solve the problem. And, you know, that's just so awesome, buddy. And to hear all this stuff coming from such a young guy like you, I just wish I would have known about this company when I was your age. I'm a firm believer that we all learn what we're supposed to learn when we're supposed to learn it. And I ran into Kangen water at the right time, in the right place, because that's what my creator had in mind for me. And now I'm just so grateful. And it's amazing how it feels to just know every morning when you get out of bed that you know what your day is going to be about. You know what you're going to, you know, like Sam said, you know, people ask him, are you still doing that water thing? And he's like, yeah, whatever. Are you still doing that breathing thing? You know, it's like, this is life right here, baby. This isn't a job. This isn't a business. This is life. And that's where I know that's why we resonate so good together. That's why you've touched my heart so much, is because you have exactly the same mindset, the exact same thought processes. And I'm just looking forward to watching your journey and helping your journey out and just doing everything. And I can't wait till we finally get the chance where I get to give you a real hug and a big old HooDeeHoooo, you know. I mean, that's going to be a great time when that time comes, and it will be coming.
Hey, well, if you ever need another tax write-off down the road, Bandon, Oregon is a beautiful place to visit. So,
yeah. Amen, brother.
Hey, I got to get going. I got to get going, though. I got work at 9 a.m., so it's about that time.
All right, brother. I love you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me and giving me a place to, you know, get my thoughts out of my head and onto this platform. So I appreciate you and the Kong family.
Thanks, you guys. Travel safe, JJ.
Thank you.
Will do, buddy. Thank you so much. And I love you guys. Have yourselves a great day. And don't forget your hugs. Much love, kids. Ooh. I'm going to stop the recording.